A fuzz just flew from the sky. Hello, lovely people. I still don't know how to intro these things. I never know. I just need to be comfortable with just saying hi or something. Let's try that again. Hello, lovelies. So today I wanted to talk about a book, not books, because we all know how long it gets when I talk about multiple books. It's too long. Essentially, just too long. But this book made an impression, so I wanted to talk about it. So the book is The Sleeper and the Spindle by Neil Gaiman and illustrated by Chris Riddell. I want to say it's Riddell. Is it Ruddle? Chris Riddell? Did I accidentally say Ruddle? I'm terrible. Now, if you guys are not familiar with Neil Gaiman's work, he's gained a little bit of popularity recently. And I've actually been reading him for several years now. The very first book I read of his was I was about to say The Thief Lord. I Need Sleep or something. The first book I read of his was The Graveyard Book. What's wrong with me? And The Graveyard Book, I read it for young adult literature class, and sorry Neil, not my favorite, but his writing style fascinated me. So I ended up reading more of his stuff, which included Coraline and Stardust and Good Omens. Now, if you guys don't know about Good Omens, it recently became a 6-part TV show on Amazon, and I watched it like 100 times now because it's amazing. Now, of course, this could be like mostly Terry Pratchett, not Neil Gaiman, but then I got this, read it through, and could not stop laughing. I went to the library recently because I'm doing a 50-book challenge like I did last year. And I saw this in the young adult literature section, and I was like, this looks interesting. So yeah, it's a library book, which, by the way, guys, support your local library because there are people trying so hard to shut down libraries in this country, and we cannot let that happen. So I was at my local library supporting them by getting books and using other things that they do there. And I saw this, I was fascinated, so I decided to read it. And of course it's a short read, it's a rather thin book. I was surprised that it's in the young adult section and not the children's section. Sorry, Neil. Then I read it and I was like, I understand a little bit more. So basically I'm gonna spoil this for you. Read it anyway because the writing style is just too good to be true. So this follows a different version of Sleeping Beauty, where there is a plague going through this one country, separated by a mountain, and then there's another country with a queen. We'll get there. So basically there's this plague and everybody's starting to fall asleep. It's not just the people in the castle anymore. Roughly 100 years ago, 80 to 100, stories vary, a witch or an enchantress or a fairy, again, stories vary, put a curse on the princess so that when she touches a spindle, she'll go to sleep. Basic Sleeping Beauty story. The problem is that 80 to 100 years later, people are starting to fall asleep in the kingdom, not just the castle like in the original story. It's starting to travel. It's becoming a zombie apocalypse, except the zombies are asleep. The story follows the 3 dwarves. It's about 3 dwarves who found a pass beneath the mountain because otherwise you can't get around the country. Is there somebody else in here? But they're dwarves, they're short, and they're diggers, miners. So they're able to do it. Anyway, they go back to the other kingdom on the other side of the mountain and tell the beloved queen, whose wedding is happening soon, that this thing is happening. And they know to go to the queen because the queen was once in a sleep curse. There's major hints until it's finally just shoved down your throat that the queen in the other kingdom is Snow White. So it's a mixture of Snow White and Sleeping Beauty. And I was all for it, honestly. The queen was amazing. It just got better and better and better. It was so good. There's also a big theme around names. That was very interesting to me. I think it's because of the, what happened at the end. But first of all, I need to share this with you. Can I just say I literally screamed when I saw this? I was like, yes, yes, representation. Also, that picture's beautiful. I want it framed and mounted on my wall. I love it. And then I didn't love it anymore. Here's the reason. The big, big, big twist to this all is let's just say it's an enchantress that cursed everybody. The enchantress was actually the one asleep. And the old lady that was kind of stalking around the castle, this was the princess that was cursed 80 years ago. Now, how was that a twist? Well, the thing is the enchantress's goal was youth and beauty and power, but youth and beauty. And Snow White has figured that out, because that's what happened to Snow White. She was put into this sleep curse because somebody else wanted to be beautiful and young, and the only way that she could do it was to get rid of the other princess, so but upon waking the enchantress obviously tells the grand story of, I'm more powerful than anything and everybody. And the most interesting thing was that she could bid all of the sleepers to sleepwalk and do what she wanted, which was freaky. It turned into zombie apocalypse. But as you can see, the queen was not having it. The queen was just all kinds of a badass bitch, and I loved her. What ended up happening was the princess, not the queen, the princess that was cursed, she was able to take down the enchantress with the spindle, and everybody woke up going, what the hell happened here? Why is this 100-year-old lady in the bed? Because then she fell asleep, or she died, honestly. And the queen, well, she was like, I can go back to my kingdom and get married, or I can go with these 3 dwarves and go east. And that's what they did. Now, obviously, I gave you a very rundown version of this, and apologies, but take my word for it that you're gonna want to read this on your own, because the writing style is just so beautiful and the characters are so great, and Neil just puts so many hidden gems into his work. And on top of that, the illustration by Chris Riddell, I'm pretty sure it's Riddell now. The illustration is beautiful and very reminiscent to an old Poe book I read way back in the day, because it really spoke to me when I saw skulls everywhere. I'm a big skull person, if you didn't know. So anyway, I just really wanted to vent and rant about this book. I will have to return it to the library eventually, but I'm definitely going to be getting this on my own at some point, and I recommend that you check it out from your local library first. Don't buy it immediately. Always check out book recommendations from the library first. That's always been my rule. Every time I was recommended a new book, I would check it out at the library first. If I liked it enough, I would buy it. If I liked it, but kind of like that was a one read thing, I wouldn't buy it. If I liked it and I was like, I could read this again, I would go buy it. So I'm gonna go buy this. Anyway, that's enough raving about books. If you guys want to check out monthly book clubs, they're not going to be on this channel. They're actually going to be on my website, so you might want to go check those out. I will leave my website down in the description so that you guys can check them out. It's always on the last post day of the month. I post Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So for example, if the month ended on a Thursday, then the book club would be on the Wednesday before it, if that makes sense. Anyway, also if I have any more one-time rants, I might put them up here, but I'm definitely not going to be talking about books as much as I do on the website, so check that out. And I will see you guys next time with maybe some better decoration. I don't know. It's like a split personality here. I'm a Tim, I'm a Sam. I'm a Tim, I'm a Sam. And I'm gonna go. Like if you want, subscribe if you want. That's your decision and your prerogative. That's up to you. And I will see you guys later. Bye! That was ugly.